Hey there, everyone. Thanks for joining us. You're with Tom from Ludicrous Feed from a special location tonight on somewhere on Australia's East Coast. Welcome to Ludicrous Feed Live. You're with Tom, and tonight we've got a big show lined up for you as always. Lots to discuss, and can't wait to get straight into it. Without further ado, let's welcome our regular guest as always. That is, of course, the one and only Riz and the one and only Rahul. Gentlemen, nice to see you both. We'll start with you, Riz. How are you?
Yeah, going well, Tom. Raul, good to see you, and thanks for joining us, everyone.
Evening, everyone. Great to be here, and let's do this. I think we're meant to be on holidays, but you know what? We can just help ourselves. We just spent I think the team's going to miss us. Let's do this.
You know, I'm never gonna let you down. I'm always here for you guys. So holidays. There's so much to discuss.
We love you so much. We couldn't stay without you. We were like, we're going to do this week.
No, we can't skip a week. No way. It's just too much happening. No way. Anyway, we're here for you guys. So thanks for joining us. Let's say hello to some of our regular members who join us today. We've got Kenny Timms. Hey, Kenny, nice to see you there as always. Hello there. And I can see a few other regulars as well. Thanks for joining us. All right. Well, you know what? We've got Riz's charts back this week. Actually, back by popular demand, of course. Riz, take it away with. Let's see. I'll just make sure I've got the right screen up here first. There we go, Riz. Here we go. New South Wales Tesla uptake.
Back by popular demand. See, you guys wanted it, we delivered. This is sort of showcasing the Tesla uptake. And I think it's probably been about 6 months since we had a look. And if you see from December, it's gone up by nearly 7,000 Tesla Model 3 and Ys on New South Wales roads, which is, nearly doubling of what it was to close last year off. And June is expected to be one of the biggest months for Tesla so far. So we'll see. Apparently, there's been according to our good friend Reader Prime, there's been 16 ships with Teslas on them sent this quarter to Australia. A few of them have been to WA. So nationally, we're going to see a fairly large sort of uptake of Teslas to close this June quarter.
How many EVs have we actually got in the country now?
In total? So including non-Teslas as well, that's nearly at the end of May, there were close to 100,000 vehicles in the fleet. And I'm, expecting June to be around 9 to 10,000 EVs, fingers crossed. And if that happens, that's a 10% increase month on month. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's got to be our current goal at the moment, right? We're sitting around 8% nationally. I know ACT is 20%. We talked about that last week. So to hit that 10% nationally, that's incredible from where we've come from, like the last 12 months. So well done, everyone. Yes, so excuse the background music, everyone. Yes, we are in party mode up here, somewhere on the east coast of Australia. That's where it is. That's where we're at. So I should say too, if you're watching on replay, thanks for joining us. Make sure you leave a comment as well. And if you're listening to us on audio podcast, hello as well from the car, wherever you are. So thanks for joining us on the live stream too. We've got Gaffer as well, one of our regulars. Hey Gaffer, nice to see you. And Charles Gregory Charles Gregory is on as well. But your lender pilot says need more charges. Yep, that's very true. We do need more charges, 100%. Riz, next chart. Let's move right along to Australian DC fast chargers. Speaking of chargers,
see, you asked and we delivered again. So it's right. DC fast chargers. First 6 months, we've had over 90 fast charging sites commissioned, opened, compared to 142 for the whole year. I have a strong feeling we're gonna do probably 220 new sites this year that will open. So that's a big jump up from what it was last year. Nearly we're approaching that 100 mark very soon, but there's a fair few projects underway at the moment that we're likely to see them started to ramp up. Hopefully BP has encouraged some of the other laggers to who made commitments over 12, 18 months ago that they're going to have all these forecourts and a whole lot of things happening, but not much has happened. BP's sort of gone ahead with their rollout. I think they've rolled out nearly 30 sites since October. So they've had a fair go at it. And now we're going to see, hopefully, without naming names, others join and deliver on what they said they were going to do. So hopefully we're going to get up to 220 new sites in 2023. Tom, I think you're on mute.
Thanks, Riz. Too much partying here. But yeah, not just BP, but other petrol station providers or other fossil fuel, traditionally fossil fuel companies providing charges as well. So thank you. Thanks for your comments too. I see that Giles says number of stalls per site is probably higher this year as well. And Gaffer saying, have you checked out the Pheasant's Nest Ampol charges? It must be the first forecourt in Australia. Okay. Yeah, it's a good spot, that Pheasant's Nest. We'll have to go check that out one day. Tassie EV, good question there. What is the definition of a fast charger? 50 kilowatts or 75 kilowatts?
50
that's a really good question.
plus.
50 plus?
50 plus in the data that you're seeing.
Okay, I see. But I guess anecdotally though, Rahul, what do you think? Is 50 kilowatts enough for our highways?
Oh, Tom, great question. You put me on the spot there. Yeah, look, I think it depends on the kind of journey you're taking with the kind of people that you're traveling with. I think for me as a family, and I think I've said this many a times, I sound like a broken record, but with me, with my 2 young kids and my wife, 50 kilowatts, hell yeah, bring it on. Because I think, I've done that south coast of New South Wales and charged at the Tesla Superchargers. It's just like, before you've had time to go to the bathroom, before you've had time for your kids to have a play at the playground, and before they've had their meals, the charger's already finished charging your car. And that's like 20 minutes. I'm like, no way, that's not good enough for me. I need longer than that. So 50 kilowatts, yeah. But I feel, horses for courses, I guess. The fact that if we could have a mix of chargers, which I think could then depend on charging pricing as well. Hey, you know what? You want 50 kilowatts for an hour? Here it is for 45 cents or 50 cents. If you want 350 or 150, here is 20 minutes or 30 minutes for 70, 80 cents per kilowatt. Riz, Tom, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Riz.
I'd have to agree with that as well. I think that having options is good, especially given we heard it here first recently by having Rob from ChargeFox on here, that there is potential talks of idle fees. So if you're sort of pull up at a site and it's 350 kilowatt chargers, and you're busy with the kids and getting them fed and doing all the things you got to do on a road trip, by the time you come back, it's all like Tesla Superchargers, right? You've got to you pay to play. So it's having those options. Sorry, Tom, I cut you off.
No, all good reason. I was going to cut to you actually. But no, it's a great point, gents. I'm just going to reiterate that having a mix of different charging speeds is good to cater for those who need that slower charge, like Rahul's family. I can see that as my kids are getting older, they're starting to be more independent. They're getting out of things quicker. They can do things quicker for themselves. So that faster charging rate is much appreciated. So I think having a mix as we have more chargers on the road is good. It's a good thing, and also the different pricing structure too as well. So the faster the charger, I think it's fair to pay a bit more as well. So yeah, good topic there. Yes, and Peter says we do need a nice mix indeed. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
let's move on.
Quickly, Tom, I think looking at the comments, I think a lot of your audience are fans of Top Gun. We feel the need for speed.
100%. Faster is good. All right, let's move on to Riz's third chart. So this is interesting. Victoria BYD uptake growth in 2023.
So this is sort of monthly registrations for BYD, and I thought it'd be good to pull that out because we spoke about it last week around what's happening with the removal of the subsidy or incentives from the state. And, people are buying BYDs in reasonable numbers. It's not sort of ramping up over 1,000 sort of every month, like you saw in the New South Wales Tesla uptake. But people are catching on, and you can sort of see the average is around 280 to 300 cars for the last 3 months or so, and we're yet to see sort of the June sales, which we should, or registrations, we should get them in the next week or so. And then it will be interesting to see moving forward what the impact of the removal of the subsidy is, given BYD has gone out of their way to make 750 cars available to Victorians to make the most. Plus, there's another 2,000 they mentioned that they sort of had reserved, not only for Victoria, but I think they were sort of destined for Victoria without taking it away from any other state. So that would be interesting to see how many people actually took advantage of that offer, because from what I understand, you still have up to 6 months as long as you ordered in June to receive your car. So and be eligible for the subsidy. So just a slightly different sort of trend, but it'd be interesting to monitor long term.
Yeah, we're seeing a controlled experiment unfold in front of us, aren't we, in Australia, where we've got most states with some sort of subsidy, and Victoria's ending their subsidy come 1st of July. So we shall see whether subsidies do actually make any difference at all. So looking forward to seeing your charts in the coming months. There is. Got some good comments here out of the chat here. We've got, Paul Leparty says 150 kilowatts on the road. AC charging is good for overnight, but must actually be available for overnight use. JD Media, good question. How soon do you think Tesla will open its chargers here in Australia to more of its superchargers? Now that they are doing NACS deals with OEMs overseas, will there be an extension of the network in Australia? Yeah, we've had that pilot program in New South Wales for a while now, those 5 locations. Riz, any update at all on this?
From what I can see, it's actually surprising that you'd think that Tesla would have moved faster on this front. I have a feeling it's, this is just a hunch, right, around they're waiting to roll out some of their bigger sites before they feel comfortable enough. I mean, we saw the New South Wales Tesla chart, right? There's a lot of Teslas, like the fleet's nearly doubled in like 6 months. So they're trying to juggle what they can do with opening up the chargers, and they understand the usage patterns better than most people, right? Like, because they're sort of live data. For those interested, have a look at Tesla's channel. They, in the last couple of weeks, put out a very short video on how they manage the supercharger network. It's very insightful. It's even got, I think, part of the footage is from that bridge in New South Wales. I can't remember what it was. It's the
Seacliff Bridge.
Seacliff Bridge, yeah. So that's quite good to see. So we rarely get the glimpse of what happens in the background, but I'm sure they know better than anyone else what's going on. So hopefully, with more superchargers coming online in the coming months, they will try and experiment and broaden their rollout to non-Tesla charging.
Yeah, so I will be publishing a video very soon about this road trip I've done to somewhere on the east coast of Australia and back very soon. And it's quite clear, it's very obvious there are a lot more Teslas on the road. I've done road trips every year for the last few years now, and it's great to see so many EVs and Teslas, but we definitely need more chargers very soon. And I'm not even traveling during the peak holiday period, so I can't imagine what it's going to be like very soon during school holidays. Let's take some comments from the audience. Maybe regular premium unleaded from a petrol company can be reshaped to fast chargers. Yeah, it's sort of heading that way, isn't it? Fast, ultra fast. And Scotty says we need sites that have different kilowatt rates depending on car maximum. Yeah, I suppose that's an interesting way to police that, isn't it? I know some cars have a lower charging rate, some have a faster charging rate. How do you direct them in the right charges? That'd be interesting. Comment about tritium chargers. Yes, unfortunately, some of them do still have that reputation of that unreliability, unfortunately. And Charles says there's a site in Germany that does it well. It doesn't have plugs. You plug in, it starts immediately at 2 kilowatts for free. Then you can pay more to increase the speed. Oh, that's quite novel, actually. Interesting. Good. Thanks, guys. Keep those comments coming. That's fantastic. And Charles says, great to see the market diversifying now with ABB, Chempower, Alpatronics. Keep tritium on their toes, 100%. I agree with you. Yes, and don't worry, I will have a guide to how to plan your EV road trip. That's coming in that video I'll be dropping very soon once I finish this road trip. All right, well, let's move on to some news about the Highland Model 3, gents. This has been a recurring theme on our chats recently. So look at this tweet here from Chris Zeng. Just see if I can reduce the size of it so I can see. There we go. So that is, the top picture is the current Model 3 look, and the bottom pic, I believe, is the so-called Highland edition. Who dropped this one? I think Riz, you dropped this one on our chat there. Run us through this one.
Yeah, so I mean, there isn't a lot that you can sort of see through that. The only thing is there's a hole for what appears to be another tweeter for the sound system. There's been previous rumors around improved sound system in this Project Highland, which may or may not be true. There's just a lot of speculation at the moment. Hard to know what's fake news at the moment with this Project Highland, but that is one change that has been mentioned in the past, and that's who knows if this part is the right one or not. But Chris Zeng generally is very very knowledgeable and seems to get stuff right. And if he's put a little watermark on it, it must be very close to it. Previously, Chris has also mentioned that the wood trim is going, and it's going to be replaced with the fabric. We may or may not touch on this later on in the stream and some of the Cybertruck interior shots, and that theory matches with what the Cybertruck has. So Tesla may be going with a new theme or a new design theme for interiors, sort of similar to the Alcantara or whatever that nano fabric material is in the top door trim picture that we have in most of the Teslas. It's similar to that, but on the dash. So it's interesting to see, and hopefully we'll get more details soon.
Yeah, that wood trim's gotten some mixed reviews, hasn't it, over the years? Some people love it, some people don't. I personally don't mind it too much. And speaking of the Highland Model 3, there is actually more from Wuwa, Twitter account Wuwa. This person says, according to several Chinese media sources, the Tesla Model 3 will be confirmed for release next month, which is July 2023. Mass production will start in September and will launch volume deliveries in 2024. Exciting stuff. I mean, how much can we put in this tweet?
Wu was on the ground, so for those that might have seen his YouTube drone videos, so he's based in Shanghai, and weekly he does videos, drone footage of the Tesla factory, sort of shows cars driving to the jetty, onto the boats, also the car parks, what's there, what cars are being tested. And in recent weeks, he's unable to fly the drone because the drone loses GPS signal, from what I understand. And it's because Tesla has put some repellers of some sort on the building where they confuse the drone, or for whatever reason loses GPS signal. So they generally do this when they don't want people to be taking drone footage off the factory, especially close up. So in June, he's been told that you're not allowed to get too close to the factory. And yeah, it seems that there's something going on. First, people thought it was because Elon was visiting, but that's sort of come and gone. So interesting to see. It might just be nothing. We'll find out.
It's hard to say, isn't it? Obviously, we always disclaim the fact that Tesla have not, confirmed anything that we talk about here. We just have to rely on a lot of rumors and hearsay and innuendo. So anyway, whatever it is, you'll hear it first on Ludicrous Feed Live. Let's have a look at this one. So this one says, this article says Tesla to equip revamped Model 3, which is the Highland Model 3 in China with CATL's new battery, which is this M3P lithium iron phosphate. A bit more dense, I believe, upgraded from 60 to 66 kilowatt hours. Very interesting.
It's not the first time Tesla's done that. If you remember when we had the SR Plus, there was a 55 kilowatt hour battery. So some of those cars that were, I think it used to be 5.6 seconds, 0 to 100, what they claimed on the website is their specs. And then they sort of jumped from that to 6.1 seconds. And that was because it had a 60 kilowatt battery instead of 55 kilowatt hour battery, which gave it another 40 to 50 kilometers of WLTP additional range. In real world, it might be 30 kilometers or something like that. So for them to go up would likely mean we're going to be seeing more range in the standard range or rear-wheel drive cars.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We've got, pointing from Doug Leung, just a bit off Tesla just for 1 second. The Kia EV9 looks too good. Looks good too for a car with 3 rows. It's a pity the Australian Model Y don't do that 3rd row. Yeah, that Kia EV9 does look good. Love to see that in this country for sure. And thank you, Jez, once again. Where is Tom? Guess 1, Byron Bay. Maybe we should host a poll. I did say somewhere on the east coast of Australia. Byron Bay, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast. That skyscraper kind of gives it away, doesn't it? Yeah, having fun wherever I am, whatever it is. You'll find out very soon. Let's move on to another bit of news here. Let's see what we've got. So, Rahul, this one's from you. Let's put this one up. So, where am I? I've lost my windows. Sorry, everyone. Here we go. Thanks for the $2 too, Jez. Appreciate that. All right, so Rahul, this one is Tesla appears to have had the biggest quarter for sales in Australia so far.
Yeah, I just saw it in a tweet today, and it just goes to show you, that not just Tesla, but EVs in general, despite the financial outlook for the country, people who have been planning on getting EVs are doing it. So one of my neighbors across the road, him and his wife and their child, they're looking at getting their EV, and I think they've already placed an order. I think they're getting it in somewhere between the 4th of July and the 20th of July. I've already seen a long range Model Y on my street in white, and I've also seen a BYD Atto 3 in my street as well. And I'm talking up until literally 3 months ago, gents, there was literally no full-fledged EV in my street. We just got about 100 cars in an affluent neighborhood in Melbourne. So times are changing. The fact that Tesla appears to have no inventory just goes to show you the demand. And Riz, those charts, thank you for bringing those charts back. The people who've been demanding it, you've delivered. Thank you for saving the stream for us tonight. Much appreciated. But yeah, it just goes to show you the demand's definitely out there. People have been asking for, more EVs, more models coming in. The MG4, the BYD Dolphin that you guys covered last week, sub 40K. Between now and next year, I just think this is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, 100%. Great to see the inventory being, pretty much all exhausted now, which is great. I know a good friend Nash just got a Tesla Model Y Performance as well off inventory, got quite a few $1,000s in discount too. So, yeah, great to see just before the end of financial year as well. Jez has just pledged another $2. Guess number 2, where is Tom? Cairns. Well, that's not a bad guess, actually. Emma does say it's currently 21 degrees in Cairns. He has a jumper on. I do have a jumper on. I've got a towel on as well underneath. It's quite cold. It's on the balcony.
I was going to say, Tom, haven't we got a T-shirt to give away to the viewers from ChargeFox?
I do. You got to tag ChargeFox and Ludicrous Feed if you want to be in the running. I haven't seen any entries yet, gents and ladies. Yes, keep those guesses coming. I'll let you know at the end of the stream. Okay, so that's thanks Rahul for pointing that out for us. Great to see lots of EVs, definitely. I'm seeing that in my neighborhood too, for sure, in Sydney. Another guess. Oh my goodness. Okay, guess number 3 from Jez. Where's Tom? Guess number 3, Melbourne. Well, there's a skyscraper behind me here, so maybe. All right, let's move on. So we've got news today that, where are we? I'm losing my window here. I don't have my big monitor with me today. So we've got Tesla will be introducing a way to officially register apps such as our platform, which is Tesla Scope, and allow vehicle owners to connect their Tesla accounts in a safe, transparent manner, which is great. We're still awaiting more details and to sign up ourselves, but this is incredible news for developers. And they've shared a picture of the third-party apps kind of tab in the Tesla app, and you can manage your third-party apps with access to your Tesla account data. Jets, I don't know about you, but this makes third-party apps seem a lot more legit now for Tesla vehicles, right? Because there's always that gray area where the third-party apps are okay. But the fact that Tesla have got this now, Riz, this is a good thing, right?
Oh, I think so as well. I've got, I think, 3 of them. Tesla 5, I think Tesla, and there's another one. So it's always interesting to see because some of them do have the ability to keep your car woken up, if that's even a word, a lot longer than it needs to. So now with Tesla taking these integrations seriously, because to enable it, you generally have to log in, or there's an API code that Tesla gives you that these apps need to access your car. So to do it legitimately, I think it's a good thing, and it allows more creative app developers to look at what else can be offered and what level of data can be shown to the owners that previously may not be easily accessible. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. Rahul, do you have any third-party apps you've got running?
I think, no, not currently. I don't, but yeah, I think this is great news that third-party apps, do get, introducing to Tesla to your vehicles as well. Obviously waiting to see what they will allow, but I think this is a step in the right direction for a lot of third-party app producers as well. Because once you get access to it, more people are going to join in as well. Just like Tesla opening up their supercharging network to other OEMs as well.
Yeah, I've got a few third-party apps running. I use Tesla Scope myself, and I quite like that for tracking my road trips and just my drives in general. So I can work out my efficiency looking at the third-party app like Tesla Scope, then collect that data for you guys when I publish a video like that video I'm doing for this road trip. I also use Charge HQ as well for charging the car during the day if I've got access to solar from at home from work. But there is concern that these apps do run the battery down, but you can actually set them. Some of them you can set so that you don't get woken up all the time. That helps to conserve the battery. But I'm happy to see this being legitimized from Tesla too. It's great. Some more guesses from where I am. This is very interesting, isn't it? People want to know where I am. You'll find out soon. Cold Wollongong. Is Tom in Adelaide? Not quite the east coast of Australia. Someone's saying Melbourne's not the east coast, it's south coast. Jets, what do you think about that?
Oh,
controversial. JD's saying Broadbeach, Gold Coast. Aaron, hey Aaron.
Are you by any chance in Wagga Wagga? Because it's very newsworthy today.
Oh yeah.
maybe you're the new member there now.
I'm not running for politics. That's the last thing on my mind right now. Thank you very much. Hey, Aaron, nice to see you. 9 Model Y inventory in Perth. Okay.
Yeah.
Get your hands on that, gents and ladies.
Put Nash onto it.
Yeah, someone tweet Nash. Tom's definitely not in Tassie. He'd be wearing a parka. Yeah, it would be colder down there. Paul saying, am I in Southport with the SeaWorld Dolphins still, maybe? Cheers, his fourth guest, Hamilton Island. He's going to bankroll my holiday here with $2 every time. Thank you.
Well, I do like that guess, Tom. I don't know whether it's right, but Hamilton Island, God, I mean, that's making me a bit envious. Who amongst all of us would like to be in Hamilton Island?
Would I be wearing jumper though? Does it get this chilly in Hamilton? I'm not sure. I haven't been there in years.
Are you secretly testing the Cybertruck in New Zealand?
Oh, I like that. Nice segue. Let's move to
East Coast.
Which country, right?
It's the same.
Let's pop that on. Cybertruck testing. Here we go. So, Riz, let's take this one away. Put this up here. There we go. Okay, so tweet from Gregor Truck. Cybertruck testing is out. She's riding in New Zealand.
Yeah, this was interesting because it was spotted, I think, with the cover on it as it was coming off a Singapore airline plane. Last time we covered it, and now it's been spotted. The camo, I don't know what's going on there. but it's been spotted. I mean, these trucks with camo have also been spotted in California, where a lot of them are being tested. And it's probably one of the very rare occasions where we've seen the frunk opened, which is quite a rare thing to see. So that people were not sure whether it would open that way, or whether it would just be like, our Model 3 and Ys and just the top section opens. But it's good to see that the whole thing sort of opens up, gives you more space, easier to load and, unload things out of it. So yeah, exciting to see it's in New Zealand. And I think I might see Tom sitting in the driver's seat there. I think you're on mute, Tom.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can just see me live there broadcasting right now. That's right. Thanks, Riz, for that. More from Gregor Truck. I'll just put this one up here. So, best interior shots I've seen today. So well done of the Cybertruck. Looks very spacious. Seats appear vented. Note the button labels appear covered. Dirty, well-used truck. The roof is transparent, as expected. No rear display. Did I see something about mirrors being, what was it? I saw something this week about that. What was it? Here we go. Oh, sorry, windows. Windows roll down all the way.
I think it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek comment, wasn't it?
Ah, right. Is that Franz there?
Yeah, that is Francois von Holzem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that was at the Peterson Museum coffee meet.
Yep.
Obviously, he rocked up with his kids in there. Looks stunning. Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody ever has a chance to go to LA, that's one place to go. That Peterson Museum. You can see that Cybertruck in real life. That's very cool. All right. Let's see. Any more guesses from the audience?
Currently, Tom, interesting position on that charge port on that Cybertruck. It's obviously at the front there with a NACS sort of port. So yeah, there's speculation whether that does come to CCS2. Countries that have CCS charging. Riz and Tom, your thoughts on that? They may have to change that charge qualification.
Yeah, I probably should clarify for those watching or sort of new to the game that NACS charging standard probably that news probably only really applies to North America. It's very much CCS2 here in Australia. But yeah, it's a good point, Rahul. That port is quite small, the NACS standard of the Cybertruck. Could it expand to become CCS2? Interesting.
But would it be something like, so you know how they've announced that Ford will start to put in the NACS port in their vehicles from 2025. But in the meantime, there's a retrofit. So there's an adapter that NACS, I think it's NACS to CCS or something like that, because currently the vehicles, from what I understand, are using CCS in America, like the Ford vehicles. So if Tesla is making an adapter for them, then it may be that we may get the adapter here as well. But hard to tell. Maybe this is not the final placement of where the charge port is going to be, but it is a key part of the whole architecture of the truck. So it'd be interesting to see how they sort of do that. But I think adapters might be the way to go.
Yeah, Peter Cook saying CCS2 will probably fit if it's angled differently. As we've seen, obviously the Model 3 Y here in Australia is CCS2. It's NACS over in America. So we'll see what happens. It's still kind of not finalized yet, so we'll see what happens when the thing rolls off the production line finally. Let's move on to a little bit of more local news at the moment. Have a look at this. So this is the Queensland Police High Patrol. They've got an electric Kia EV9. How cool is that? Sorry, I'll put that on. I'll just put it on. Sorry, everyone. There we go. Here it is here.
Yeah, the EV6 GT, I think.
EV6, I'm sorry. Yes. So those listening on podcasts, it's just some footage of the Kia EV6 in Queensland Police Highway Patrol livery. What are your thoughts, gents?
Massive upgrade from the old V8s.
Be fast enough, right? 0 to 103 point something, I think it was when I tested it. 3.6.
Yeah, they're pretty quick.
Catch the bad guys.
We love the colors, and I don't know whether people know this, but in Melbourne and in Victoria, I have actually seen a Model X from the Vic Police, which I think has got the number plates VIC PL NDX. So yeah, Vic Police Model X, and that looked absolutely amazing. Like my daughter saw that car, she didn't know it was a police car or a big police car, but she's like, "Dad, look at that! That's amazing!" And yeah, the colors on that top. Yeah, it looks very striking. Yeah.
It's, yeah, we do have those that one Model X, and every now and then you see them at car meets, and you talk to the cops that drive them, and for whatever reason, a lot of them want to get back in their V8s because I don't think they fully understand, the advantages, because I guess they don't have fast charging at their police stations and a whole lot of other things. So they always think about all the things that electric vehicles can't do, what V8s and some of the other vehicles can. But then again, in the UK, they've got Opel Astras and stuff that they catch the bad guys in. So I don't think it's really needed that these are high-powered vehicles. In Victoria at the moment, Highway Patrol uses BMW 530Ds, the diesels, or there's a Mercedes wagon, and it's not the C63 or anything. That's, I think, also diesel. So, I think Queensland's doing the right thing by having a EV6 GT.
That's right, Riz. That's a good point. You need the right infrastructure back at the station to support an EV police patrol vehicle. Before making that call that they're not right for the job, you need to have the right tools as well. So, yeah, good point there. Now, Jez, another $2 for my holiday. Last guess, where is Tom? Backyard. Yeah, okay. Emmett saying, yeah, Tom is in Borisville, where I live, on the northern beaches overlooking Chatswood. Yeah, maybe I'm leading all you guys on, right? Maybe I'm on holiday. That's why we're broadcasting tonight. Never know. And Peter Cook says there was a genuine suggestion that Cybertruck would have a new megawatt charge port. Yes, I saw that too. Good point. And Anthony says Queensland Police reckon it was quicker than the Lamborghini they had. Nice. They are quick. And Oliver says New Zealand police are trialing out BMW i4 fleet for their police force. That's great. Yes, and Peter says plenty of police forces around the world that use Teslas as well. Yep. I've seen this too. New South Wales police are trying out a BMW iX fully equipped for the police. Yep. Okay, question for everyone here. Do you think the electricity price increases in some states will impact the EV uptake? That's a good question. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because I think electricity prices are going up from July 1, because I've been notified by my power company. They're going up by about 25 to 30%. I'm yet to actually see the rates that they're going to go up in, but Riz, again, if we're in Victoria with the EV subsidy coming to an end in 24 hours and a little bit, and your electricity prices are going up, I think that could impact people's decision in taking the uptake for the EV. Yeah, I agree.
Just on that, I thought it would be interesting to see because the rebates are managed by Solar Victoria in Victoria. And I thought it'd be cool just to see if if you've got a solar system, whether you can get a home battery. And apparently the home battery rebates are also going. So I think they're canceling everything from what I saw. It's bizarre, the whole situation at the moment. So in Victoria, it's too cold. You can't drive an EV without getting taxed. You've got, I'm going to make one of those TikToks. This is the reason why I sold my EV and bought myself a V8, because it's just too much. The cost of living is too high. I'd rather pay for 98 octane and just live with that. And maybe I'll drive past Anne Andrews' electorate office, which is in Mulgrave, where my office is based, and just park it up the front and say it's too expensive to run an EV in this state.
Riz, you and I may pack our bags and move to New South Wales. I think Tom's garage has got a few spaces that we can kind of like crash in for a few weeks until we sort of get our feet up and find our own space. New South Wales or Queensland, here we come.
Here we go.
Hey, New South Wales, we're quite a big state. Yeah, plenty of room. A bit warmer too, I believe too. So you come on over. Lots of rebates for everyone. Charles makes a good point here. Electricity price increase is making cost of charging going up from equivalent of 16% of petrol to 18% of petrol. I like to think electricity is fairly inelastic. So I think it may maybe cause a bit of a dip, but I don't think long term it's going to do too much for the uptake, just from my sort of hunch. What it will make people do is make people shop around for a better deal, if that exists, from their current plan. Maybe think about going solar as well. So very interesting to see. Thanks, Was Doogie. Here's half a beer for you, Tom, for $5. Yeah, that's right. Beers are going up as well in price too. Everything's going up, but thank you for that. Always appreciate that. Some people are trying to listen to the music in the background and see where I am. Yeah. By all means, keep guessing. I don't mind. JD Music says electric charging is still 1/5 the cost of diesel. Yep, depends how much you pay for it, I guess. Has the Victorian government gone nuts? From Anthony. Has it gone nuts, gents? Seems that way at times.
We're broke. We got no money. That's the reality of it. We spent too much in COVID. So I think, as I said last week, if they're more transparent about what they're doing, then people would understand. On the back of that, they've cancelled a fair few multi-billion-dollar projects as well, infrastructure-wise. And you can imagine interest rates are going up. The amount of money we borrowed to get through COVID, the interest rate bill would be ginormous for the state. So I think any cuts may help them, but at the same time, I think just telling people what they're doing and hopefully having a plan for down the track, or how do we catch up to the rest of the country for EV uptake later on.
Yep, some austerity measures certainly in place. Understandable, I guess, given what's happened. Interesting client. Sorry to be wet blanket, but given right-hand drive S and X's have been cancelled, not looking promising for a Cybertruck here anytime soon. That's a whole can of worms there. Let's move. We'll talk about this in a second here. There was an article midweek out of South Australia where ChargeFox has a charger at a winery at off-peak, 12 cents middle of the day versus $1.20 later in the day. So let's talk about it now. Let's try and pull that up for you. I did see that as well this week. Where is it? Here we go. Let's share this tweet here. So yes, so this was shared with me and everyone else this week on Twitter. Have a look at the prices on this charger here. 90 cents per kilowatt hour between 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. for a 75 kilowatt charger, 60 cents for every other time. I think Riz, you might have covered this as well during for a Driven article.
Look, I think it's I can sort of see what they're trying to do here, and it's sort of you know prove a point that by having high prices at peak times, people are less likely to charge or use that charger. Um, but I guess it's not the whole story, and I'm still waiting to hear more. So Rob from Charge Fox, who was on, I think him and the team are going to be hopefully sharing more information on idle fees and some of the other unique charging sort of trials and things that are going on, and that might explain what's happening here. I think most people support the fact that we sort of need to have variable pricing for charges. Tesla does it in the US and a whole lot of other countries. I think there's a couple of sites in Australia as well. But a bit more transparency would be good, maybe in the app to say what's actually going on there. For those looking at avoiding this, I did see that I think 4 minutes down the road, RAA has opened one of their first Kempower DC charger units, 150 kilowatts, dual CCS port. And I think their peak is 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and it's 68 cents. And at other times, it's 58 or 59 cents. So people do have more options. And I think this is only like 100 or 150 Ks from Adelaide. So it's not that far out either in the Barossa Valley. So people may be able to do a round trip and may not need to use this particular charger until more information is known as to what's going to happen here at the 10 Bay site.
Yeah, that's right. So I guess as more chargers come up, there'll be more competition for pricing as well, which is what we want to see as consumers for sure. I was going to talk about the Seal, BYD Seal. Let's put it up now. Oh, I got a bit sidetracked. So there we go. So BYD Seal has been pulled forward, fast-tracked to August. Very interesting. This is on the back of the Dolphin, obviously being launched last week on the Gold Coast. So, Riz, you've seen this with your running shoes, haven't you, a few times in the last few weeks?
It's been around, and I think Tom, when you were doing the live stream at SeaWorld, there is already a garage for it there for the launch. So there's some sort of a Seal experience center. But yeah, no, I think there's a couple of them running around now. It'd be really interesting to see how BYD does this or EV Direct. But if this report is correct, then we're likely to see it, I guess, in the next 2 or 3 months. In New Zealand, they have revealed the car. There's a spec sheet going around, and first customers expect to get deliveries before Christmas. So that's sort of the timeline we're looking at probably here as well.
Yeah, have a look at this quote here from Luke Todd, EV Direct CEO. When asked by Drive whether Seal could undercut the Tesla Model 3 price, which starts at $61,000 plus on roads, Mr. Todd insisted they are totally different cars while hinting at a higher price for the BYD. BYD Seal is going to be competing against not just the Model 3, but the wider industry. How will it fare for a higher price than the Model 3?
It is a slightly longer car than the current Model 3, but at the same time, the brand recognition, like there's quite a lot of enthusiasts waiting for a different car, a different sedan to the Model 3, maybe something a little bit larger, maybe some people that were considering a Model S for the last couple of years. Maybe some of them may be thinking, hey, might as well get the top of the range Seal because it is a larger car. But then again, it's hard to tell because battery wise, the rear wheel drive variants, the single motor variant is roughly the same battery size. So it's not going to be too much of a difference when it comes to that, but pricing is going to be key.
Definitely looking forward to seeing that price for sure. Got a few comedians in the crowd here. BYD Tuna, when's that coming out? Guppy, Shark, yeah, let's bring them on, right? The more EVs, the merrier, definitely. Yeah, good question from Anthony. Does it have the same quality? running gear as Tesla. Yep. For sure, we'll see. Definitely interesting times ahead. Yeah, this is interesting here. So it looks like Tesla has started officially advertising on Google, verified by the ad transparency tool Google provides advertisers. So I think Elon Musk did hint at this, or someone hinted at this at a recent shareholders meeting. So currently 18 ads launched, more coming. Very interesting. Let's whip through some of the news before we wrap up tonight. So let's pop another one up. So this is Volvo. Volvo, once I get the article running, Volvo becomes the first European automaker to make the switch to the Tesla NACS charging standard. SAE also announced this week it would standardize the NACS. So that makes it Ford, GM, and now Volvo as well. Very interesting.
So crystal ball, I think Polestar's next.
I think so, right? As natural extension. Yeah. Gazing ahead, will it ever spread past the shores of North America, guys? I mean, will it ever, will the contagion ever spread to here? Will we ever get the NACS?
Well, I think we might in Darwin, North Australian charging standard. So if that happens, then I guess we'll have a few more DC fast chargers up there as well.
Yeah, never know. All right, let's move on to let's talk about this article here. We always have a bit of a Toyota watch here on Ludicrous Feed Live. So this is, I think, Rahul, you put this one up. Soy Merit, the UK advertising watchdog has banned campaigns by Toyota and Hyundai for exaggerating the speed at which their electric cars can be charged and misleading consumers.
Yeah, and I think, it's just car manufacturers, dealerships just putting in, the best case scenario. And obviously this is, I think they were referencing that you could go from 20% or something like that, from 18% to 100% in about 18 minutes on a 250 kilowatt charging infrastructure. But obviously this was in factory conditions, not in real world conditions, which they very conveniently forgot to mention. So obviously the UK advertising watchdog has actually pulled them on these. There's no way in the UK that, considering their winter weather is so horrible, that you could achieve this. And obviously they clarify that, hey, this would be in a city where you'd be doing less driving, there'd be more charging infrastructure available. You would have 350 kilowatt charging or 150 kilowatt charging infrastructure available. There's no way in regional UK you would ever expect this to pass. So yeah, good on the advertising watchdog in pulling Hyundai and Toyota. Please get your act together. Seriously.
Yeah, 100%. Doesn't bode well for Toyota. I mean, I have achieved about 18 minutes from 20 to 80% in the Hyundai Ioniq 5 in ideal conditions. The battery's been warm, had a 350 kilowatt charger, so that is achievable. But you do make a point, Rahul, in sort of weather that's not ideal, it is more difficult, for sure. You're seeing some comments here. Yep, no way NACS is coming to Australia. No sensible reason. Thank you, Charles, the voice of reason there. So thank you. Just wanted to make that clear for everyone. This is not just for me. I'm asking the question because I have been asked that a lot this week as well. Is NACS coming to Australia? So I'm here to ask those questions for everyone, for sure. So glad to see that is the answer. And yes, you're right. Rivian was also NACS as well. Thank you, everyone, for reminding me too. So thank you. We're here to learn. And yes, I don't know. CCS seems to work quite well in our country. Seems to be the de facto standard. And I think hopefully, as long as we have one standard, I think moving forward, we can't have different plugs. If we want EV uptake to be universal. And looks like FSD is FSD 12. Moving out of the beta stage, gents.
I think when that happens, we need to get Nash on, because he'd be the first person in Australia to get it across his entire fleet of 3,000 Teslas in Wollongong. So I think we're going to need the the closest person to the development of this software to tell us what it's really like.
I think this is
Definitely get
kind of
Nash on when
like,
that happens.
yeah, I reckon this is kind of like good news for people who have, like me, who paid for FSD, and I've actually been waiting for that full iteration of FSD to have their hands on the car, to try and test, which is I think is what Nash has always been angling for, and I think Jason from Tech AU has also been angling for. Is like, hey, we in Australia can provide you with feedback on FSD Beta if you give us that opportunity. But looking at what Elon's saying here, if version 12 is not too far away, we may all just get FSD version 12, over the air update sent to us very soon. I'm excited to use it. I do travel once or twice a year with my family on highways, interstate, long trips or regional trips. It'd be good to try this out and give feedback from our right-hand drive countries for them to improve FSD for this part of the world.
Yeah, I think my hunch is it'll be a subscription service, you would think, once they perfect it, whatever perfecting means, right? Like it's a bit like the premium connectivity subscription. Surely FSD would be subscription-based as well, eventually, once they roll it out wide to everyone. So we shall see. We shall see what happens. Speaking of Nash and the real left-hand drive vehicles, so here we go. He's been tagged in this too. This gentleman here receiving a left-hand drive Model X in a right-hand drive country, given that right-hand drive is no longer available for Model X, Model S. Here we go. Dreams can come true. It's great. Congratulations. And back onto BYD. Riz, BYD expands presence in the Middle East with launch of Atto 3 in the UAE.
Yeah, they're expanding in markets where a lot of the EV brands are not going. I'm not sure if Tesla is officially in UAE at the moment. They always have, imports and other ways of getting vehicles into different markets. Just as Thailand had Teslas being grey imported prior to official launch. So yeah, good to see BYD expanding. There's also, I think, news that they're launching in Jamaica. So soon we'll have Cool Runnings branded BYD Atto 3s running around Jamaica, and obviously full sponsorship to the West Indian team as well as part of their launch in that part of the world.
That'd be very cool. And more news of Chinese EVs. So XPeng launching right-hand drive models in Hong Kong next year. That's a good sign for our market, given that Hong Kong's right-hand drive as well.
Yeah, I think they're struggling to a certain degree in China at the moment, and they're trying to find ways of exporting vehicles. In Europe, I don't know what the demand's like for XPeng, but they're trying to get into markets where there's probably not a lot of options. Also, a report came out today that there's another large EV maker out of China that is going to be setting up their Southeast Asian head office in Thailand and manufacturing vehicles there. They produce on average 40 to 50,000 pure electric vehicles every month at the moment. I think they're called GAC Ion. And they've got some really cool looking cars, just like that XPeng there with those scissor doors as their halo cars, but also EVs for other markets. So there's a big push to get into right-hand drive markets and try and export as many cars. So it's going to be great news in the next 12 to 18 months for us, as all of those brands will move out of Asia and hopefully be selling right-hand drive cars here in Australia.
Yep. And here's a good point here from JD Media. It's probably one of the best explanations as to why it'll never probably come to Australia. NACS doesn't work with three-phase power, so it's probably not going to work here in Australia. and probably Europe as well, because I guess North America don't have true three-phase power. So that's a very, very good explanation. So thank you for that, JD. And Charles says Tesla has entered 8 new countries in the last 6 years and have all used CCS. Thank you, Charles. And good question from Peter. Do you recommend going MG EV or should I just spend double to get the Model Y? Well, yeah, I mean, if you've got the budget to spend double, then of course I'd say the Model Y is probably good value. Yeah, Henvan, consider MG4. I mean, I'll be testing the MG4 very shortly on this channel. It's a smaller car than Model Y, of course. All right, let's see any other comments here. Anyone know when MG4 will be available in Oz? I think August is when they're saying the Excite 51 kilowatt hour will be launched in this country. Stay tuned. All right, gents, I think that might do it for tonight. I am in the Gold Coast. There you go. That's my final answer, everyone. So I'm enjoying the holidays with the fam on the Gold Coast. It's been great, really enjoying it. So look out for that video. I'll be outlining our road trip up here and back. Am I going to test the GWM Aura? I've been trying to get my hands on it. Anybody watching this from GWM, please reach out. I would love to test it. I knew it, Tom. All right, gents. Thanks so much for coming on tonight, as always. Riz and Rahul, lovely to have you both. Riz, thank you.
Thanks, Tom, Rahul, and everyone for joining us. It's been exciting. I'm a bit disappointed you're not in New Zealand, Tom. We would have liked more Cybertruck shots, but that's all good. We'll be looking forward to the Seal ones. But yeah, thanks for having us on, and yeah, exciting. Lots happening.
Lots happening. Thanks, Riz, and thank you, Rahul.
Hey, thanks, Tom, and thanks, Riz. Yeah, thanks, Tom. I appreciate it that you're on holidays, but you found time for the audience, for the people who are here to bring this week in, week out. So yeah, go to the YouTube channel, guys. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, so we can bring breaking news on what's happening in the EV world in Australia to loads more people.
100%. You always hear it here first on Ludicrous Feed Live, everyone. All right, gents, thank you, Riz. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. And if you're watching on replay, don't forget to leave a comment. Thanks for listening to us on audio podcast as well. Until next week, we shall see you all next time. As always, happy charging, everyone. Take care.